that a woman has to deal with and the different aspects of her career when she's involved in technology. So I'd like to start today with all of the panelists introducing themselves. So please introduce yourself first and then provide us with the company that you work for and the role that technology plays in your life. So please try to keep this under 30 seconds too, so everyone gets an equal amount of time to talk. Would someone like to volunteer to go first?
I can.
All right, perfect, thank you.
Yep. So my name's Cathrine Muth. For some reason, my camera is not turning on because I'm not a team member, it says. So
oh, it's turning on now. I can see
good.
you.
Okay. Well, good. Hello, everyone. So my name is Cathrine Muth. I work with the Buffalo Niagara Manufacturing Alliance in the Northland Workforce Training Center. I'm their Director of Workforce Development and the Northland Industry Liaison. Technology for me is really interesting. It's not really where I went into, so I've fallen into manufacturing. And it uses technology in a variety of ways, which is really interesting and innovative. And I think that once you start getting into manufacturing, you start to realize that you can use the skills that you've learned on computers or through even using your phone in a new age type of setting. And it's really cool to kind of delve in and experience that. So I would say that's not what I started off doing, but it's something that I've really enjoyed learning about as I've gone through this position.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Anyone else who feels free to go next, please?
I'll go next. Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
All right, I'm Emily Shiver. I graduated Alden in 2012. I went to, first I started off in technology going to RIT, and I got my bachelor's. I'm finishing my master's this week. And throughout my master's, thank you. Throughout my master's, I was also working for a defense contracting company called Par Government Systems, where I first worked on a media forensics team, creating a data set to help machine learning to detect manipulated images, audio and video. And then from there, I transferred over to drones, doing UAS testing and counter UAS testing. And then after that, I transferred to another a part of my company doing another project doing software-defined radios. So I kind of switched from photography to media to radio. So it's all over the place. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else who feels free to go next, please?
I'll go. This is Lindsay Riggs.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if you can see me yet.
I can.
Okay. Hi, ladies. And
Hi.
maybe gentlemen that are out there. Who knows? My name is Lindsay Riggs. I am with the American Apprenticeship Initiative of Western New York. We are based out of the United Way of Buffalo and Erie County, so right in downtown. And I am one of the workforce development specialists there, and I get to work in the education and outreach area. And that kind of ties into like the whole technology realm, very similar to what Cathrine had said, as far as I didn't start in this type of field either with manufacturing and learning about technology, but I've grown to love it so much and learn so much about it that it's become my thing now. So I get to work with a lot of women of all ages in the apprenticeship world with technology. So I get to learn not only my skills at my job, but I get to learn a lot from them as well. So it's kind of an all-encompassing field that I get to work in.
Thank you. That's awesome. Anyone else want to go next, please?
I can go. Hello, can you hear me? Stacy,
Yes.
Cubit? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
So I own a company. It's called Cubit Engineering, and we specialize in construction administration for heavy highway and infrastructure projects. And I've been involved in technology, doing research work for a federal highway and utilizing it and watching contractors utilize technology as far as global positioning systems, GPS, machine controlled grading, and we utilize that for tracking quantities and utility locations and verification, and then also watching and trying to develop and help owners utilize new record keeping for quantities as well. So
sounds great. Thank you. Next person.
I can go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name's Emily. I'm a community development specialist for Microsoft. I'm based out of the Microsoft store at the Walden Galleria Mall. I oversee all the programs and events that we do in the store, as well as getting out into the community and working with different schools and business organizations and nonprofits locally. So my background prior to Microsoft was not technology. I've worked mostly in community development or event planning, but I love working in technology now. And if I ever were to leave Microsoft, which hopefully I won't, but if I did, I can't imagine I would, move to another technology company just because I do enjoy it so much.
That's awesome. Thank you. Do we have any more that would like to introduce themselves?
I can go. Hi.
Okay.
This
Hello.
is Tonniele Naeher. Hi. I'm with Integer. We're in the Clarence, New York area. We're a medical device manufacturing company. I'm in the information technology department. I'm a program manager and oversee implementations of large softwares related to anything from business needs down to IT needs. I kind of was in technology to begin with, kind of, if you want to look at it, I'm really a science major and have a degree in science and environmental toxicology, but I ended up rolling into software management over time and really enjoy it. And the one thing that I'll say that relates directly to science and technology is you have to be very detail oriented, and those things really apply no matter you're in science or in technology. So it's a good fit.
Perfect. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
I'll go.
Okay.
My name is Bobby Del Bello, and I'm actually a representative from Western New York STEM Hub. So all of you that are presenting today are all great interests to me in the fact that you all support what Western New York STEM Hub does, and I'm the program director there. So I'm very excited to hear what all of you are doing, and thank you all for participating in this event.
Awesome. All right, is there anyone else, or else we can move on to our first question?
I'll just jump in real fast.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Nicole Savage. I'm the owner and president of NW Contracting, based right here in Alden, and I'm a 1998 alumni, graduate of Alden as well. And we're a contracting firm. We're a state contractor primarily, but we offer, we do drilling and geotechnical services. We do environmental remediation. We do broader land beautification, I like to call it, grading services and such. And we also install state-of-the-art fuel systems for DOT facilities and municipalities.
That's awesome. All right, thank you guys for sharing. My first question is, why have you guys decided to take time out of your day-to-day to share your career-related advice with high school students? Like, what do you want the impact left on them to be from you? Anyone can feel free to go first. We can start with you, Miss Savage, if you want to.
Sure. It's funny. I actually switched up my schedule specifically to be available for this today because I normally, in light of all this COVID chaos, I've been taking Tuesdays and Thursdays to be home with my 2 young kids. But I found a way to be here because it's important to me. It's important to me that the young ladies and the women out there see how many options there are within technology and the trades, and see how much opportunity there is. And so if there's any question I can answer for anyone with regard to the reality of it and what you can expect to find, from my perspective at least, I think it's an area that maybe the ladies still don't quite consider as strongly as maybe they might if they knew more. And I think that this pandemic is a good example of why the trades specifically are so important and such a viable industry, because largely we're still essential, and that's a big deal. So, yes. and I would assume the same for a lot of you that are more technical with manufacturing and stuff as well.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Would someone else like to answer the question next, please?
Yeah, I would kind of piggyback off of what Nicole said. The reason I want to be here today is, just to show other females out there that we're all here for you. We're all willing to do these things, to be mentors for people. And when everybody's out there rooting for you for your success, because we've had those people there for us, and now every time you can turn around and do that back for someone, and that's why we're here.
Yes. All right. Thank you guys so much. Maybe we can get a couple more answers on this one also.
I'll hop on real quick.
Thank you.
So like the ladies just said, I love talking to students. I've been a teacher myself on the side for 9 years as well. And my background, I didn't have mentors or other women to help me or to guide me. And as I've grown up and have had the opportunity to experience meeting women and having them guide me in a certain way, and I'm able to ask questions, that has really been instilled in me, and I want to give back that way and try and help as many girls and young women as possible. And like Nicole had mentioned, this is the perfect time to even talk about women in technology in this field. We have women that I'm working with on the apprenticeship side that, I mean, they're rocking it. So, learning about the different types of careers that are available out there just is beneficial, because in times like this, these women now have these skills and they're able to step up their game. And it's just a great feeling to kind of give back and make sure we can get through everything together.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that we'll move on to our second question now. What experiences or interests in your personal life have led you to become involved in the technology field? Anyone can
go ahead and start with that one. So I actually grew up in a family that was very focused on manufacturing. My father worked at Kodak since I was, before I was born. He worked there for 35 years and now works at Thermo Fisher. And as Nicole was saying, it is very much an essential field still today with COVID-19 out there, which is really exciting, and it's almost pioneering in the way in which people are going about it. But even though I grew up in an environment where manufacturing was very present, people were very negative against someone going into that environment. It's one of the reasons I did not go into it immediately. And I even had a chance to work at Kodak, and I did that for a few years, and everyone would tell me, like, do not go into manufacturing. You don't want to do this. It's like a dying field, or it's for old men, or it's dirty, or whatever they wanted to say. And so it's really interesting now that we're having these conversations. So I would say, like, the background that I had really did feed into this, but it was also trying to push me off of this pathway throughout the entire time too, which is really interesting. I'm sure I see a lot of people shaking their heads. I'm sure they've all had a lot of those similar experiences too.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for your insight. Next speaker, please.
Can you repeat the question just so that I missed a piece of it? I'm sorry.
Yep. No, that's fine. It was, what experiences or interests in your personal life have led you to become involved in the technology field?
So I can pop on, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I did not come from a technical household at all. My dad's an accountant. My mom met him in accounting school, and she was a librarian. My sister, who also graduated from Alden, she has an MFA, and she's a working artist. My brother is in IT, but he was like the weird one over there, and he was a guy, so like it was fine, I went into RIT, which is a tech school, it's an engineering school. It's right over in Rochester. Thinking I'm going to go into photo sciences. I love photography. I love the medical sciences and things. I never thought I would go into digital image processing and learning how to program, learning how to do color vision, linear algebra, along with the design and stuff like that. And when I got my job now, they were not impressed at all with, like, they don't care about the engineering. Engineers, they can find a dime a dozen. But since I had the photography, the design, the testing, experiment design background, I was more able to bring more quality to the job, and I was able to bring a check and balance as well as express myself thoroughly. Okay. So that helped.
Thank you so much. All right, we have time for maybe like 1 or 2 more people. And to get things maybe going faster and we can get through as many questions as we can, if we try to keep our responses under 30 seconds, that would be awesome. So thank you guys, because I know all your contributions are lovely, but I want to make sure everyone has time to talk.
Hi, I can
I'll
go
29 seconds.
Thank you. You guys are
You can give me the timeout. My background is not related at all in technology. I was a music major. You would think, what? But I had to do music technology classes, which was my background, along with education and performance. And as I kind of went through my career, my knowledge with the technology and that really helped me connect with other jobs that I've had in the past, such as working with a computer company that was local to the area. And now in this current role, I'm able to, connect with women in their roles and be able to have that conversation and facilitation. So because I had that background knowledge, I'm able to connect with women and help them grow to their next career level as well.
Yes, all right, thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, so hi. I was gonna just state that when I started, getting into the career that I'm in today, it really started back when I worked with a biotechnology firm. I did technical training, and I love the education aspect of it and working with people to get them to further their knowledge on particular technology that this company sold. And then over time, because it was a biotech instrument that actually had software component piece to it, it brought me into the software world and learning SDLC, or the software development lifecycle. And that's where it kind of brought me into getting into software and understanding it and really liking it, and then moving into the management of it. So I started really in biotech, but I moved over to software over time.
That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, anyone else?
I'd like to just add, I think it's even simpler than the specifics for each of us, but really technology is about wanting to solve problems. And I think that's something that I've seen my whole life, has been a problem solver, right? So whether you're doing small projects at home and you're playing with Connects or Lincoln Logs, or you're working with somebody or like your father or a friend and you're trying to solve a problem, I think we can grow. If we can grow up and see that all through our path, we're just problem solvers, and technology lets us catalyst, into how to get there faster. And I think if we can take advantage of that, and because we are women, that's how we look at things. How can we make this work for us better, faster, more efficiently, just by nature? I think that's where I see my background. Just the basic of it, was problem solving.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for your insight. And now we can move on to the third question. What do you believe that young women need to discover to consider technology as a career option? Anyone can feel free to go first, please.
I think one thing I've noticed in time is, as my career goes on and I see a trickle effect of a few more women coming in here and there and a few more, I realize that we think and approach things differently. And that's a huge benefit, that if you have men in there, but then you add us into the mix, I think we can bring a whole new level of things to the table and to the plate. And I think that's one thing that we need to make sure we're always aware of, is that we have something to offer, and it's valuable and important, and actually can make something better. So that's my 2 cents.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Riggs, do you have anything else you want to add, or anybody?
I can jump in there, I guess, and it's going to be maybe similar to what was just said, but
yeah,
I think the number one thing that girls, women need to realize about technology, it isn't really about technology, or in order to get involved, it's having the confidence to delve into something where you're not the majority. And not just the confidence, but also having the wherewithal to reach out and find the mentors that are going to help you through it. I got into my business in a very non-traditional, unplanned way. And there were moments I didn't think I would make it as this owner. And the only reason I did was because I found a group of women to support me through it. So if you guys, women don't have any kind of issue with, I know we're aware of what's out there. I know young ladies have access to it all. I don't believe there are boundaries in that way anymore. I think the boundaries sometimes are self-inflicted or imagined. And so confidence and using your resources are the things that you will serve you the best.
Thank you. That was really inspiring. Next speaker.
Real quick.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I agree with what Nicole said. Like, as far as we don't have that block anymore as women. And one of the things that I get to observe all the time with the women apprentices that I work with is ask questions and take risks and take the opportunities. There are things out there that we might not know about yet, but if we ask other women or ask people that we look up to and just dive into that information ourselves, we are able to find just, maybe a couple type of career paths. And, when you find that career path, then you know that you can be independent, you can traject yourself for a lifelong career and be successful. So that's kind of like ask questions and go for it.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. So this is like my third team where I'm the only woman. With a big group of guys or a small group of guys. Most of them I am 25, most of them are at least 10 years older than me. And then we have the interns who are like 3 years to 5 years younger than me. So I'm in this weird spot. One thing I've learned personally is you don't have to care about their hobbies or interests to do your job well. You don't have to you need to build your own social life oftentimes, because you don't want to go get beers with them most of the time. I go to martial arts with some of my coworkers, and that's great. I found something we can connect on outside of work, which is fun, but I don't want to talk about guns 24/7 with them. I don't have to have that conversation. I don't have to pretend to be someone I'm not. And on a quick other note, I've had things happen in the workplace which made me very, very uncomfortable. But luckily, my company is super supportive. All I have to do is say, hey, that makes me uncomfortable. And if it happens again, count your red flags. And if you need to leave, I've been in a position where I just had to leave that team. Because if it's not good for me, it's not good for me. And no matter if I can do the job, I don't have to if it's putting me in harm's way.
Yeah, that's very important. Thank you. Next person. Okay, well, if we've done with that question, then we can move on to the fourth question, which is there any advice that you give young women about how they would be able to be recognized in technology and noticed in the future?
I can take a stab at that one. So I would say that it's the same as what you would do in any field. You will work hard and you will need to prove yourself. I truly feel, and maybe some of my colleagues won't agree with me, but I do feel that as women, sometimes you have to work harder and be more competent and know the answers right away than your male colleagues. And that is something that manufacturing is trying to work through. But at the same time, I've had a lot of success in this environment. And all I would say is that, no matter what field you go into, no matter what you choose to do as an adult, and know that your first choice doesn't always have to be your last choice. No matter what that is, and no matter what you do, you can be successful no matter what no matter what it is, so long as you work hard and you're dedicated to it, making sure that you put in the time and effort that is somewhat expected of you. So just say, regardless, you will, regardless again of where you're going into, what field you're going into, you will have bumps in the road. You will maybe have what Emily was mentioning, like a coworker who makes a comment or something like that, and that could happen. For instance, I'm a female in manufacturing, and I was told, well, we just don't hire females. Like, okay, why? And that's weird and awful, and also like incredibly against the law to say. So let's work through all of those different issues. But again, it's just, it's like anything. If you want to be a good dancer, you have to put in the time. If you want to be good in technology, good in manufacturing and construction, apprenticeship, whatever it is, you have to just put it in time and learn. So I think anyone can be successful in any of these environments and in any of these fields. You just have to do it.
Yeah, thank you so much for that insight. We can move on to our next speaker, please.
I would piggyback onto that. You know, I totally agree with all that, the hard work, the dedication. Self-development is really important so that you can continue to learn and get better. And doing trainings and conferences like that, that's a really, I think, a big one that you guys should consider while you're trying to build your careers. And some other things to really consider is really when you're working through things, building a plan, sticking to the plan, but knowing when to be flexible so that you can still be successful. I think that's a key learning that I've had over time is it's one thing to have a plan and want to do it, but it doesn't always come out the way you expect. And that's okay. You actually learn from it and you do better. But having the mind and the capacity to say, okay, well, let's adjust the plan. Let's make it, work for us. I think is a good way to think about it, and create mantras for yourself. I do that sometimes. Like if I know I have a challenging day I'm going into or something really important, I set up kind of a viewpoint in my mind for that morning, like, well, how is the day going to be? And I give myself positive reinforcement and go into it. And it really does seem to help. You even can do, it sounds kind of weird, but the hero pose, you stand up, you just take in the air, you breathe, you visualize how things are going to go. And it definitely works out a little bit better for you. So those are some things I've used.
That was great. Thank you. Anyone else?
I can just make a quick comment that I think it's important to realize that recognition and success are two different things. You can have one without the other, and it's up to you which is more important if either. Your success is, everybody's already spoken to success. Your success is what you are going to make of it. If you want to be recognized for it, you have to be the best of the best. It doesn't matter whether you're a male or a female. So if you want recognition, identify your goal for what is appropriate recognition in your mind and go for it and get it. Success, though, is very different and it's very personal. So your success, and it changes. So the definition of success is always changing. Just be aware of that and don't set one single goal for yourself because it will stifle your growth.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Next speaker. Okay, we can move on to the fifth and final question then. Are there any obstacles that you've had to overcome? And if so, during your career, how did you overcome them?
I'm just waiting for this to be the one where everyone's like, oh, me.
Yeah, I saved it for last.
So I'll just, I'll say there will be obstacles. There are no matter what industry you go into, but I will address the elephant in the room. There are more when you go into a male-dominated industry, whichever one it may be. Emily has shared with us some of her challenges, right? And so you learn them firsthand, but that is where the confidence and self-development and self-assuredness come in with regard to working in a male-dominated industry, because I think that's the big piece here. When I became the owner of my company, I was not taken seriously for a few years. There are still people today that belittle me and don't take me seriously. It doesn't go away. So, there are many challenges. There are also challenges another challenge I face every day is I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old son at home, 2 boys. I have to manage being their mother and running a business. You could say that would be the same for men, but in reality, a lot of times it is not. It just depends on the family. It is very, very difficult to do all of it and do all of it well. So just be aware that there will be choices in life, and none of them doesn't mean they're wrong choices, but if you want to choose to be a mom over something for a sort of period of your life, that's your choice, and your definition of success in life can match that. If you decide you want to do it all, but get the support system. Get the support system. Kids they're 2 full-time jobs. So for the rest of you panelists that probably have kids also, I'm sure you would agree. Yep. So just be aware that whole family and work life thing, very difficult to actually achieve a balance without outside help. You need the village. So that's what I'm going to leave it at.
All right, perfect. Thank you for your contribution. That was great. We can move on to our next speaker, please.
I'll hop on real quick, just a quick couple sentences. Kind of going on what Nicole said, you don't have to know everything, but you just be confident. You have to like know how to find the support, know how to find your resources. When I first started, I might have had one class in Python, a little tiny bit of programming, but I also know how to use Google really well. And you know what? So do all the other programmers. Know how to find your resources. You don't have to know everything to be competent in what you know. If you have enough background knowledge, you will be able to use your resources, use your community, know who to call to answer that question. And that way, you actually are more of an asset to whatever industry you're going into without having to be an expert in 80 different technologies.
That was awesome. Thanks for that insight. Next person, please.
I'll also mention, I agree with what everyone has said thus far, but I'll also mention it's sometimes really hard to go into any sort of work environment, regardless of the field, and admit that you may not know something or know that you do need to put in some extra time to learn something. And so I think one of the greatest things that I've learned throughout my career is that it is okay to not know, and it's okay to admit that, and it's even better when you go and figure it out and then you can come back and present it to your team. I think as women, sometimes we're told that we should be like that rock that knows everything, that can handle anything that comes at us. And yeah, maybe we are, and maybe that's what society kind of wants us to be. But it's also okay to say, like, I am, again, competent in my job, but I'm able to take a step away and say, like, I don't know that well enough to answer you. I will come back to you when I have an answer, and then do that in a prompt manner. Any obstacle can be overcome if you have the foresight and kind of the wherewithal to take the time to pause.
All right, thank you so much. That was awesome. Anyone else?
Yeah, sure. I'll jump in. So I've had experiences where in working with teams, some team members, stakeholders may not see eye to eye with you. You guys look at things very differently. Your perspectives are completely polar opposites, and that can cause some very challenging times. Sometimes it happens where it's just not something you can get past. Okay, so you have to just accept it and be able to move on and adjust. But a lot of times what I've found is if I kind of take a different perspective and look at it from that person's point of view, try to be in their shoes, try to understand what their worries are, why are they looking at it so differently, it helps the situation a lot. I know you've heard probably that before, but it's a true thing. And a lot of times if you can show that person you're trying to really understand it from their perspective, they may end up becoming one of your biggest supporters and also offer you some really valuable information to help further and better the process, because it's something that you would not have even considered or even thought to do. And if you can bring yourself around to that frame of mind, you may actually end up building something way better. So just keeping that in mind, keeping yourself in check, and really trying hard to bring in others to make the best thing in the best situation.
Okay, thank you for that insight. Next speaker, please.
I guess
Okay.
part of the
well, time is almost up after all, so I would like to take this time to see. Okay, do you want to answer the question?
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. No, all I was going to say is just part of the confidence thing is you have to believe in yourself when you go out there to do it, or you can't expect someone else to believe that you're going to do it, and that's the bottom line. So that's part of probably the definition of confidence. So you have to turn and look in yourself and know it's okay, and then you can expect that in return, because you're not going to get that if you don't have it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That was awesome. So like I was saying, we have like 10 more minutes left. So I would like to leave this time open to anyone to ask questions or add extra insight.
I have like a little insight just based on, since we're talking about women in technology and the trade field and maybe even manufacturing. I know it can be all encompassing sometimes, but the opportunity to gain all that mentorship that we keep talking about and being able to learn from one another and learn from even those that have more experience than us, because we want to be good at what we do, if not eventually the best, look at any opportunities, especially apprenticeship. There are so many apprenticeship opportunities for women in this field, technology, manufacturing, anything that's trade related. You can really, really hone in on your skills that way. And I really encourage everybody to look at that path as a career path, because you're getting that built-in help. You're getting that built-in village and that skill. So it's just an opportunity that presents itself. You can ask future employers, you can ask your teachers about it, on how to get on that path, and you're going to get all of those pieces together. So if you are like passionate about what you want to do and you want to learn more, I really encourage everyone just to ask that question and go for it.
Yes, thank you. Any students here or teachers, if you have any questions or want to add something, you can also, please.
I'm assuming we have high school seniors on as well. So, I mean, when you go to college, don't be afraid of those extracurriculars in whatever field you're going for. Those are huge, huge things that will benefit you through your whole career. And that's where you're going to start to build your network. Those people, whether or not your project is successful or not in that extracurricular activity, those people are going to be your network as you move through college and then into the professional field. So don't just, grades are important, but those extracurriculars, when you get to college, get involved. And that's when you're going to find out if you like what you're doing or not, because taking, Calc 5 isn't going to tell you that you like technology. It's going to be, can I apply this to building something or doing something that will help you start to focus your career and where you want to go. Do you want to build it, design it, check it for quality? Do you want to manufacture it? There's a big range in STEM, so get involved.
Thank you for that insight. Anyone else? Students, feel free to ask questions. It's all right. They're here for you guys. They're quiet.
I guess real quick, I'll just pop on and say, when it comes to piggyback and extracurriculars, even if it's I did ballroom dancing in college, but you know what? Some of my ballroom dance partners were physics majors and other people around, and I still talk to them, and it was really nice to have those conversations where, oh yeah, I understand what they're saying. This is not a foreign concept, and you can back and forth, and that's how you broaden your scope. So it doesn't have to necessarily be joining the robotics team or anything else. Using your interests to make those connections with people is really helpful.
I also want to point out from a project management perspective, I don't want people to think that it's only for information technology. They need project and program managers for everything in manufacturing, engineering, R&D. So the skill set of being able to manage a project and bringing something from concept to a full product, full cycle is needed across the board. And this area is growing exponentially. When I started probably my college career, I didn't even know it was a job. It wasn't anything that I had heard of before, and somehow I evolved into it. And now it's becoming up and coming. So it's something to consider if you like seeing things go through completion and managing it and working with all kinds of cross-functional teams. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yes, thank you. I saw in the chat, Miss Cubit, that there was a question about whether you or not you would have done anything different in high school.
So in high school, freshman year, I wanted to be a meteorologist, and then I changed to engineering. But I was involved, and I took all the tech electives that I could. I took classes in the summer, free things, just random woodworking. And so I really wouldn't change what I did in high school. I was involved in a lot of extracurriculars. I played sports. I think oftentimes you'll find that a lot with women in STEM fields. They sometimes come from the teamwork aspect of a sports team, just builds that camaraderie. But I wouldn't change what I did in high school at all. And then I'd change what I did in college a little more. I went for a 5-year degree and did my bachelor's in engineering. So I'm a professional engineer. And then I have my MBA in my 5th year. And I didn't take my MBA very seriously because I thought engineering was more important. And now I own my own business, and I wish I would have paid attention in accounting. So You know, you don't have that foresight down the road where you're going to go. I knew I wanted to own a business, but I didn't know what it would be. And once I got into construction, then I realized. But yeah, high school, I wouldn't change much about that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. I guess now as a student at Alden High School, I'm wondering, like, what did you guys do in high school to become recognized? Or like, I'm kind of just wondering, like Miss Riggs, I know you with all your apprenticeships, like, how can kids reach out to you more for that?
Yeah. An apprenticeship for reaching out, you can ask me anytime. I can send my contact to you and feel free to share that out. Or if Mr. Turton, who happens to be my cousin, I'll just text him. But, in high school, I didn't know about apprenticeships. I didn't, go down that path. But what I am able to help a lot of high school students with, and my team as well, is just learning more about what they can probably take in high school. That's a lot of math. And then just figuring out, what do you like to do? Try different things, and learning about apprenticeship and seeing what employers out there, especially in New York State and our area, have that can help you. And don't have that fear of, well, I have to pick one, path that I love and that's it forever. You can try a couple different angles. Emily was saying that, in the photography and then switching over. So you can do that in apprenticeship. You get to learn all the different aspects in manufacturing and technology when you're in an apprenticeship. So I am always happy. My camera is always open for anyone that wants to ask questions, and my team, and we can help you however we can.
Okay, thank you.
Can I say one? Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just one other thing. Yeah, so in high school, I failed to mention that, I did an unpaid internship in high school. You go find those opportunities, do the internships. That's how you're going to get there. And now I think it's almost illegal to do unpaid internships. But, it was 100 hours with a firm that I ended up working for every summer through college. And I didn't stay with them, but those opportunities like apprenticeships, internships, that's what you really, to stand out in high school. Mm-hmm. And then on your college applications and then your future jobs, that's going to make the difference, because you're going to have history regardless of what field you go in. It's going to be teamwork and communication, and that's what people really look for now. So you're going to have that back from when you were a freshman or senior in high school, and that's something that can develop over time.
Yes. All right. Thank you. There's another question in the chat over here. It says, can you compare project management experience in high school versus a high level academic courses?
So I'm guessing that may be directed towards me. Project management in high school. I didn't even think about project management in high school, but at the end of the day, what it comes down to is time management. You have things that need to get done, and they have to be done at a certain time and in a certain way, and then you get it done. I mean, seriously, that's all I could really think about from a high school perspective. And then what was the second part of that? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It says, can you compare project management experience in high school versus a high-level academic course?
Yeah, so it's interesting. Again, I didn't even take this in any college courses when I was in college. I didn't take anything related to it. It does come down to getting big projects done that are due. And then one thing that I did take later on that is now available is you can take project management certification courses today, and they prepare you to take certification exams later on in the future, so you can practice project management with a certified credential. So that is something that I know is offered through like an MBA program. I'm sure you can get classes today in college classes for your general course these days, but it's been a while. I can't say that I took a formal class though while I was at a higher level. No.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else final remarks that you would like to end with?
I just want to pipe in for a second. Thank you so much. Hi. For those of you on the panel who don't know me, I'm a technology teacher at Alden, but I did start my path with a computer engineering degree. So I've been in that world a lot. And so thank you so much for being here and taking the time to do this, answering the questions, and also being real about your experiences. I think that's so incredibly important. When I was in college, I was the only girl in the lecture hall of 70 at UB for a lot of my classes. And ironically, where I met my husband, he knew who I was. I had no idea who he was because he was one of a bajillion guys. And so just thank you so much for being real and being here, and hope you guys had a good time, enjoyed yourselves, and I hope we get to work with you soon too, because I really want to like build these relationships, because it's so critical to see people like yourself being successful, you know, even though your path was not quite the one that you originally dreamed of. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, me and Mrs. Buell really hope to have more of these panel discussions in the future. And the two of us really want to work together to get more people involved. Because this was great. I think this went pretty well.
Ray?
Yes.
This is Mrs. Zacher. I just want to pipe in and tag on what Miss Buell's saying. Ladies, I am incredibly in awe of you. And like Miss Buell, I had your path, Stacy. I started out in engineering and ended up in design, and now I'm going into my 30th year of teaching art. So, you know, I think all of these experiences that you are sharing to both me, my students, my daughters, hello, they're sitting here, is terrific. I have two girls. My one daughter is in her second semester at UB in architecture. So I will be tapping, I think it's Lindsay, for an apprenticeship wherever you went. But I think everything you're saying is so huge and of value, and I feel honored, and I'm super glad that my reminder came up for this. Thank you, whoever set that up, whether it be Rebecca or Alan. I think this is such a wonderful opportunity, and I'm really just grateful to be able to sit here and listen to you all and give these amazing insights. My daughters are trying to run out of the room as I'm continuing this, so I'm going to cut it off and say thank you. And thanks again, Ray, for hosting. You look lovely.
Oh my gosh, of course. Thank you. So yeah, I think that's all for today, but we do hope to see all of you again at some point in the future. So thank you again.
Do you have a follow-up protocol from this for your viewers? Like if they have follow-up issues or questions that come up later, do you keep our contact information? Because you're welcome to.
Oh yeah, we will definitely keep your contact information. So in the future, we can always get a hold of you again.
Okay.
Yeah, we might make
you could share it with the student. I mean, you can share my information with the students, my email. If that's fine.
Yeah, mine as well. Yep, absolutely.
Same.
Okay,
Yeah.
so look out for an email. Maybe we'll make a group or something for some way for everybody to like kind of be able to network together. And so just be on the lookout. Ray and I, we'll figure it out. This is all kind of new.
Very good.
Yeah.
So
well, thanks for letting us be a part of it.
Oh my gosh, thank you for coming. It was awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Oops. You okay?
I couldn't stop smiling like the whole time.
You're good.
I was just like, stop smiling.
Okay.
Very nice job, Rihanna.
Thanks, Mr. Feeney.
I think, Ray, if you want to call me directly, I think you can do that through here. I want to talk to you real quick, okay?
I'll figure out how to do it, yeah.
All right, or I'll try and call you. We'll see who figures it out first.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.